Hey guys, I'm Hellhound. Now welcome to another review. I haven't done a music-related video in a long time, so I figured I would analyze one of the most groundbreaking albums in metal history, and one of my all-time favorites. Now, people often ask me, what do you like better, Mercyful Fate or King Diamond as a solo artist? With Andy LaRoque and all them. Well, I can't answer that, because they're both so similar yet so different at the same time. They're both great in their own way. But either way, you can't lose, so, you know. Most people would say their favorite Mercyful Fate album is Don't Break the Oath, which I agree. It's a phenomenal album. Just purely evil and demonic, and is excellent. Songs like Gypsy and The Oath, Desecration of Souls, Come to the Sabbath, so many great ones. This is a fantastic album. I absolutely love it. However, I've always preferred their debut album, Melissa. This is the first album they ever released, and I think that it's still their best. Only a hair better than Don't Break the Oath, which, if that's your favorite, I can certainly see why. Though I slightly prefer this one, just by a little bit. Wow. Their Mercyful Fate's debut full-length record, Melissa, is the record that every metal, every record, no matter the genre, should sound like. Every metal record, anyway. It's complex, timeless, venomous, and heavy as hell. Contaminated with an extreme amount of talent all around. It's a pure masterpiece. And as I said, not only is it one of the greatest metal records of all time, I would consider it one of the greatest records of all time, period. No matter what the genre. It just delivers everything you could possibly want from a metal album. You got dueling solos, a wicked arsenal of sinister riffs, revealing killer succession, I might add, throughout all the compositions. A new classical influence can certainly be felt there. There's also some stellar, brutal drum work that features hardly any mindless blasting like you can get from many metal bands of today. Most importantly, very vivid and horrific lyrics, that really tell a spooky story. King Diamond's got excellent storytelling skills, and I think a lot of his, his songs or even his albums, his concept albums from his solo work should be made into horror movies. I think, I think he'd be a great horror director or writer at least. It just got a completely demonic presentation. It just feels, just so, like a horror movie in audio format. I think they really achieved that. That's what they were going for. They definitely succeeded, and then some. It's also got, of course, some of the most insane vocal acrobatics this side of Rob Halford. King Diamond's probably my fourth favorite metal vocalist of all time, next to the Holy Trinity that I consider, Rob Halford, Ronnie James Dio, and Bruce Dickinson. King Diamond's definitely number 4. Jeff Tate from Queensryche would probably be a close 5th. But King, however, everybody always says Ozzy Osbourne's the Prince of Darkness. Well, King Diamond's the King of Darkness. Yeah. The corpse paint wearing frontman of Mercyful Fate. He's the King of Darkness. He actually writes his own lyrics and comes up with his own material. I'm not knocking Ozzy or anything. I'm just saying, come on, it's King Diamond. Let's take a real good look at this record. The lineup consists of course, King Diamond on vocals, and he wrote the lyrics as well, and wrote a lot of music too, I believe. Hank Sherman and Michael Dinner on guitar, two of my favorite guitarists in metal. They're dueling solos and especially their riffs. Their complex song structures. The intricate riffs are just they're not all that technical. It's kind of your standard power chord fare, but the notes are arranged in such a complex, intricate fashion. It's just mind-boggling. Kind of reminds me of early Watchtower, but Hank Sherman and Michael Denver they write some of the creepiest, most demonic-sounding riffs you'll ever hear. Some great guitar duos, of course, and they're just so capable. If I could be half as good, play some of their structured, melodic, and their classical soloing style, then I'd be happy. Hell, if I was even a quarter as good, I'd be happy. Yeah, but they're definitely very inspirational to me. They're a huge influence on my guitar playing. And yeah, then you also got Timmy Grabber Hansen on bass. Unless you're like Les Claypool, usually the bass is unfortunately rendered inaudible on a lot of studio albums, and that's unfortunate because it's such an important part of the sound. Some people take it for granted, I think, but he's a very competent bass player. You can certainly tell, and the bass is pretty audible in this record for the most part. So yeah, I think you'll definitely notice some great bass lines. Very heavy, very ominous. And also got Kim Ruz on drums, who, as I said, isn't just some mindless blast beat, heavy double bass kicking throughout. It's very. I don't know much about drums, but I will say that some very complex drum beats and arrangements there. He was really excellent. Now, I wish the band had stuck with this lineup for longer. Eventually, I believe Mike Weed replaced Michael Dinner on guitar, but Hank Sherman stayed with the King throughout. After he went into his solo career, after Don't Break the Oath, and released some great studio albums like Abigail and Them, and Conspiracy, The Eye, Voodoo, The Graveyard, so many good ones. They did eventually return to Mercyful Fate. They put out some other great records like In the Shadows and Nine, which I think is really underrated. It's kind of returned to form. I think it kind of sounds like Don't Break the Oath. Great songs like Burn in Hell and The Grave and some others. I think Insane, that's another good song. But they came, as I said, they reformed Mercyful Fate, and Hank Sherman came back as well, so that's good, because he's one of my favorite guitarists. And of course the King Diamond solo material, he's got Andy LaRoque, who's another one of my favorite guitarists. So, and as for which one was better, that's another thing I can't decide, because they're both so damn good in different ways, and I would love to be anywhere near as good as either of them on guitar, and I'd be happy. So, as I already said before, I can't praise them enough. But yeah, very competent lineup on this album. Pretty sure the same lineup returned for Don't Break the Oath. Which, as I said, most people prefer that one, but I think Melissa's slightly better. But yeah, it's some great songs. My favorite probably being Into the Coven. I love the classical sounding intro. It's just so great. Mr. Dinner and Mr. Sherman really are an underrated couple of guitarists. And definitely listen to this album to find out why. They should definitely be talked about more. Timmy Hansen really holds his own. Some nice counter melodies, and he really anchors the whole thing down with some unfaltering solidity. Kudos to you, Mr. Hansen, wherever you are now. The drumming's top notch, as I mentioned before, pretty ahead of its time. Kim Ruz has a really unmistakable signature style. And I could talk about King Diamond's vocal performance for hours. His voice, his music, his storytelling, the show that he puts on on stage, his personality, his frontman skills. As I said, he should make horror movies for sure, because some of the stories he writes, that you'll see in his lyrics are way better than a lot of the modern day scary movies that come out now. Yeah, he really inspires me. He truly does. He's definitely one of my idols. He's one of my heroes. His vocals just send chills up my spine. Even the high notes. And a lot of people hate him for that. I don't know why, but I think they sound really evil. He does the really high notes, and then there's normal singing voice. It kind of sounds like a much better version of Dave Mustaine. I know it's a weird comparison, but he's so evil sounding, so deliciously demonic. As I said, Into the Coven's probably my favorite song. Then, of course, you got Curse of the Pharaohs, which is just excellent. Telling a really cool story about, entering, ancient tombs in Egypt and feeling the wrath of the ancient mummies that are, the pharaohs, obviously. Satan's Fall is a really long song. It starts out like kind of really slow and melodic, and then, kind of picks up and gets a little heavier and more arcane. Yeah, it's just awesome. There's not a bad song on this album. Then of course the title track, Melissa. Oh God, I could listen to that for hours. I could just hearing King Diamond deliver those notes is just orgasmic to my ears, for lack of a better term. Yeah, the opening track, Evil, is also really great. It provides a pretty solid introduction to what the album's going to be like, what it's going to be about, and, it describes what you're about to hear, Evil, That's what the whole album is, and it definitely deliver in that department. Yeah, I just can't praise this album enough. Black Funeral, The Sound of Demon Bell, every track is just solid, this album has really great production as well. It really stands out. But wow, there's so many melodic, harmonized passages, just beautiful and profound, intros. As I said, the classical intro into the Coven, very haunting, very like minor key classical melody. I think it's played on an acoustic guitar underneath, a blistering. Richie Blackmore-esque solo, but yeah, just this album is just relentless, satanic, and just unreal. It's just executed perfectly. So the best guitar playing you'll ever hear, some of the best vocals, even the rhythm section is undeniably excellent. Just it's all just. It's a masterpiece, as I said millions of times. I can't praise this record enough. Definitely check it out. You won't be disappointed. I mean, if you haven't already, I'm sure if you're watching my videos, you're already familiar with this album. But if not, definitely check it out. And definitely check out Don't Break the Oath as well, and their other material. After they came back together, a lot of people said, "Oh, it wasn't as good as their first." Well, maybe not, but it's still very good. It's still. It definitely deserves to be heard. And definitely check out King Diamond's solo material if you haven't already. You won't be disappointed. I'd say even start with Fatal Portrait, which was his first album he did on his own. Andy LaRocque's guitar playing, as I said, is just miraculous. And all the other musicians he's ever had, work with him are all extremely competent as well, and complement his amazing soaring vocals and his, awesomely evil falsettos perfectly. As I said, I think his main strong point is his lyrics as well, and his storytelling skills. It just paints a awesome. It's like you just go blast some Mercyful Fate or King Diamond, just close your eyes and just picture what he's singing about, the story he's trying to tell. It just paints an awesome visual, very vivid image of just brutal, satanic, and horrific imagery all around. What I like to do is I like to go in a graveyard at night, with my headphones in and blast either some Mercyful Fate or King Diamond, and just walk around. It's like the perfect atmosphere for that, the perfect scenery to be listening to it. And as I said, I can't decide between Mercyful Fate or King Diamond solo because they're both so damn good. I know a lot of people would say King Diamond because he did a little more by himself, of course. There's way more King Diamond albums than there are Mercyful Fate, but I'd almost be tempted to say I prefer Mercyful Fate by a very slim margin, just very little bit. But then again, I'll listen to King Diamond solo and I'll just be like, I don't know, I can't make up my mind. Andy LaRocque, it's like comparing Andy LaRocque to Hank Sherman. It just can't be done. Check out Melissa, the debut album of Mercyful Fate. I haven't done a review to an album in a long time. This is my first CD review in a while. I previously reviewed Killers by Iron Maiden, South of Heaven by Slayer, and Wretched Spawn by Cannibal Corpse. So I'll definitely be reviewing some more CDs here in the future. So, alright guys, well, I'm Hellhound, and keep it metal.